Okay, we're back. Number 7, when is the object moving right? So this is an interesting question. When we say the object moving right, we mean that v of t is greater than 0. If we want object moving left, that would be v of t is less than 0. So we could set this equation greater to 0 and solve, but an easier way to answer both of these questions would be to put together a sign line, because we know that the object is at rest at 0 seconds and 1.5 seconds. So I can do a sign line here. 0 is where the direction has an opportunity to change. So if I plug in numbers here to my velocity equation, do a sign line, then whichever sections are positive, it's moving right. Whichever sections are negative, it's moving left. So let's take our velocity equation. I'm going to copy it down up here. And we're going to do a sign line. Now, first off, this is a story problem talking about time. Time is not negative. So we don't care about anything less than 0 because we're talking about time here and we don't want negative time. So I just need these two sections. So let's plug 1 in. So 48 times 1 squared minus 72 times 1. That's going to be a negative. And then let's plug 2 in. 48 times 2 squared minus 72 times 2. That's going to be a positive. So it's moving left from 0 to 1.5 seconds. And it's moving right when it's greater than 1.5 seconds. So a sign line is a really quick, fast way to answer both those questions in one. Okay, when is the velocity of the object equal to 54 feet per second? So this is saying, when is v of t equal to 54? So I can take my v of t equation, 48t squared minus 72t, and set it equal to 54. Now to solve this, I need to bring everything to the same side, so then I can factor it. So I get it all equal to 0. Now, I can try to factor this. You could also do quadratic formula on this. That'll work as well. Or we could also just use a calculator to graph it. So I'm going to show you that method so that if you are on the calculator section of your test, you can do it this way, which is a lot faster. Okay. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Maybe my calculator will come up. Whoa. I don't know what it's doing, guys. Okay, let's try this. Sorry, guys. Let me try and get our calculator open. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Got my calculator working again. So, let's type this in. We're going to go to y equals and type in our equation. So we have 48x squared minus 72x minus 54. I'm going to graph this. And looks like I have two answers right here. When is the velocity of the object equal to 54? And we solved for 0. So I want to find the zeros here. So I'm going to do second trace and then intersect. Oops, nope, sorry guys, wrong one. Second trace 0, that's what I want. And left bound means I'm going to go over to my first one. think I passed it. So left bound on this one is when y is positive. So right here. So I just want one where y is a positive number. Enter. Then left bound, or right bound, right here I want where y is negative. So there I've got one. Enter. I don't need to guess. And there we go. So our first 0 is at negative 0.549. T equals negative 0.549. And then our second one, we can do second trace 0 again. There we go. And our left bound for this one, left bound is going to be negative, so I just want y negative, enter. And then our right bound is where y would be positive, so I want y positive, enter. And there's my second 0 at 2.049. Now, once again, these are going to be seconds. And once again, we also do not have negative times, so be conscious of that. Okay, so we've got, there we go. There's our final answer. Now, what is the displacement of the object between 0 and 2? If you go back to our vocabulary words, displacement is the final position minus the original position. So for this particular problem, that would mean s of 2, final position, minus s of 0, initial position. So I just need to plug these in to my position equation. So I'm going to copy it down. 16t cubed, so t equals 16t cubed minus 36t squared plus 24. So I plug this in. S of 2 is going to be 16 times 2 cubed minus 36 times 2 squared plus 24 minus S of 0, 16 times 0 cubed minus 36 times 0 squared plus 24. So if I go to simplify this, I should get 128 minus 144 plus 24. This is going to be 0. That one's going to be 0. So then I have a minus 24. And if I simplify that, I should get negative 16. And this displacement uses position, so my units will be feet. Okay, last question for this one. Total distance traveled by the object. So total distance is a little tricky. You need to find the distance at the start, so S of 0. You need to find the distance at any position changes, which we already found was at S of 1.5. That's from our sign line. At 1.5, I have a position change. And then you need to find where you end at, S of 2. So I want you guys, pause the video, plug those ones into your calculator, see what you get, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what to do with it. Okay, so this is what you should have gotten. So we're going to imagine this. We started at 24 feet. Then I traveled to negative 3 feet. So from 24 to negative 3, that's a total of 27 feet. Then I went from negative 3 feet all the way up to 8 feet. That's a total of 11 feet. So if I add those together, my total distance that I traveled should be 38 feet. Okay, in the last video, we're going to talk about finding these sorts of things out from a graph instead of equations.